Each year, we gather here in Dublin to solemnly mark Holocaust Memorial Day. We commemorate the 6 million Jews murdered by the Nazis and their collaborators, and we also pay tribute to the other persecuted minorities and victims of Nazi atrocities.
We meet tonight, as we do the same time every year, to remember the 6 million Jewish people, men, women and children who died in the Shoah, and also the other victims of the barbarism and inhumanity of Nazi Germany, the Roma and Sinti communities, Slavs, gay men, disabled persons, Jehovah's Witnesses and dissidents who were murdered. We remember the obsessive genocidal objective of Adolf Hitler, Heinrich Himmler, Rudolf Hess, Adolf Eichmann, and all of those who were dedicated to the elimination of European Jewry and the active complicity of their many collaborators from states across Europe who assisted the Nazis to achieve their evil goal. We remember the Nazis murdered over 1.5 million children, and in extinguishing their lives and those of their parents, extinguished never to be conceived nor born uncountable future generations. We remember that on average on each day of the Second World War, 3,000 Jews were murdered.
I'm here today not because who I am, but because what I am. I am a Jew and I'm a survivor of the Holocaust. I was 9-year-old when I was captured by the Nazis along with my mother, grandmother, aunt, brother, and cousin. We were herded into cattle car, and from that moment onwards, we were treated worse than animals. There was no privacy or hygiene. The stench and conditions were unbearable. Eventually, after 7 nights, the cattle train stopped. The doors were open and we were greeted by shouts from the SS with guns at the ready and the barking of their Alsatian dogs. We arrived at our destination, Bergen-Belsen concentration camp. I was there from November 1944 until the liberation of the camp in 1945. What I witnessed as a 9-year-old boy is impossible to describe.
We must prevent future generations from thinking of the Holocaust in terms of anonymous, faceless numbers. Each victim has a name. Several people living in Ireland lost cherished family members in the Holocaust. We will now read from the scroll of names, and in this small way, we will honor their memory and give them a personal Irish memorial. I invite pupils of Stratford College, Dublin, Franciscan College, Gormanston, County Meath, Drimnagh Castle CBS, Dublin, and Fingal Community College to read from the scroll of names.
Mima Alt Milachman, Levi Fachler, Izzy Fachler, Nathan Fachler, Johanna Carlsberg Sommer, Emil Sommer, Hannah Matla Siebner, Rivka Siebner, Baby Siebner, Mindla Siebner, Sulim Siebner, Frandla Siebner, daughter Frandla, Joseph
Eddie
Siebner,
Steinberg,
Scheinler
Leon
Siebner.
Glug, Wojtek Glug.
It is traditional at Holocaust memorial events to light 6 candles in memory of the 6 million Jewish victims of the Shoah. In Ireland, we also light candles in memory of other victims of Nazi atrocities. The first candles are dedicated to the memory of people with disabilities and disabling conditions who were murdered, starved to death, and forcibly sterilized by doctors and other willing helpers. I call upon Deirdre Spain of Inclusion Ireland and John Dolan, CEO of Disability Federation of Ireland, to light their candles. The next candles are in memory of millions of Poles and Slavs who were murdered, displaced, and forcibly Aryanized by the Nazis, and the thousands of members of ethnic minorities who were persecuted and murdered. I call upon Beata Malandowska, Dublin City Library, and Georgina Naamani to light their candles. The next candles are in memory of the Romani people of Europe who were rounded up, displaced, forcibly sterilized, and murdered by the Nazis. I call upon Brenda Borchardt, whose grandparents, Chatzkel Abram and Belia Abram, and many family members perished in the Holocaust. Mark Heinbach, whose grandparents, Heinrich Heinbach and Selma Heinbach, and other family members perished in the Holocaust. Emma Zinn Collis, whose father Zoltan and Aunt Edith survived Bergen-Belsen and whose other family members perished in the Holocaust. Marina Herbst, in memory of the many members of the Herbst and Korn families who perished in the Holocaust.
Go home from this place and tell your children and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren that today in Listowel you looked into eyes that witnessed the most cataclysmic events ever unleashed by mankind upon mankind. Tell them that you met people who will still be remembered and still talked about and still wept over 10,000 years from now. Because if they are not, then there is no hope for us at all. The Holocaust happened, and it can happen again. And every one of us, if only out of our own sense of preservation, has a solemn duty to ensure that nothing like it ever occurs again.